Do we have a new top Biden gaffe of all time? The best gaffe ever. Do we have a new one? Let me remind you what the current best gaffe of all time is right now.
And by the way, you know, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They'd look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
Can anything beat that gaffe? Can today's gaffe beat that? You be the judge. I'm Tyler Zed. Welcome to Zeducation. Welcome to Zeducation, and welcome to another episode of Biden's Top Gaffes. Yes, there's been so many gaffes in the past couple weeks. We have a lot to go over, and there is one gaffe that rivals that in cringiness. And we're going to go over that here in a little bit, but first, we need to go over the rest of his gaffes. There's a lot to cover, And I just want to remind you guys, this guy is running for president, the most powerful country in the world, the most powerful position in the world, the president of the United States. And this guy can't even remember where he's at half the time. Here is a clip from this past week where he forgot where he was.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Kingswood Community Center. Actually, that's the one down I used to work. It's a joke. You didn't know where we were. Anyway.
Actually, that was the one down the street. It's a joke. Anyway. Even if that was meant to be a joke, you absolutely butchered it. But the reason why I don't think you meant that was a joke is because you have a long history of forgetting where you are. Take, for instance, the following clips.
I'm back. I've been here a number of times. Last time was, I think, all the way back in 2014. But I've been here before that. I love this place. Look, what's not to like about Vermont in terms of the beauty of it? And what a neat town. This is sort of a scenic, beautiful town. The mayor's been a good guy, and everybody's been really friendly. I like Keene a lot. How many unsafe bridges you still have here in the state of Iowa? And I was just in Ohio because they had more. My granddaughter, my other three granddaughters are down in Dubuque with my wife Jill, and Des Moines. I'm in Dubuque, in Des Moines, and with my wife Jill. And primary race for the United States presidency. You have an incredible obligation, not to me at all, to yourselves, because what you do here in Iowa. What they do in Iowa, what you do here in a primary in New Hampshire, is going to set the tone.
So clearly, you have a problem with this. Your brain is not remembering where you are half the time. And I know, I get you guys you're traveling all across the country, but at this point, dude, you're doing one press briefing a week? Like, come on, and half the time it's from your basement. If you can't even remember that you're in your basement or you're at the one location that you've been in the last month, that should make everyone question and everybody concerned. Moving on to some more gaffes from these past couple weeks, here is a gaffe of yours where you were asked why people should vote for you.
Why should people want to make a change, though?
Well, that's up to them to decide.
Why should they?
It's for them to decide.
Well, make your case.
I'm not going to.
Well, make your case. I'm not going to. What's the point of campaigning if you're not going to tell people why they should vote for you? Props to this reporter, by the way. Props to this reporter for pressing you and trying to get you to actually make a real answer. She's not even pinning you in a corner with some gotcha moment. She's saying, why should people vote for you? And you can't even answer that. Here's another interview you had with a local TV station, and it didn't go so well. They actually cut you off because you were getting so out of sorts.
So you don't make somebody else sick.
I want to ask
sick. What's with this guy?
Steve, that's our time.
Okay. All right. I appreciate your time. Thanks so much to Mr. Vice President as well.
Thank you. I hope I can see you again. Thank you.
Hope so. Thank you.
And here's a clip of you saying, I don't know what. Honestly, I have no idea what you're trying to say here.
But you know, in the 2020 census, which is now 2 censuses ago, soon to be.
Soon to be 2 censuses ago. It's every 10 years. That you're talking about 2040, the year 2040? What are you talking about here? The soon-to-be census of 2 censuses ago, 2020. The next clip, here's a clip of you getting a little bit tongue-tied, forgetting how to speak correctly.
We can't rebuild our economy and meet this climate crisis?
The climate crisis. Ooh, the climate crisis. Again, people do that. They mix up their words here and there, especially when they speak all the time. But this happens too much with you, Joe. This happens far too much for it to be just an accident, just a one-time thing. Clearly. Next clip is a clip of you going on MSNBC with Joy Reid, which did not go very well for you.
Well, the only thing we can do about it is be prepared. We have a whole group of lawyers who are going out to every voter registration physician in the states, the secretaries of state, making sure that they, in fact, have a game plan as to how they're going to allow the voting to take place.
Voter registration physician. Never heard of that. I didn't know that this was such a surgical thing, that you needed MDs, voter registration physician. Even your fellow Democrat heads, like Elizabeth Warren, are rolling their eyes at you in the same interview as you.
We put in our last administration $1.5 trillion. We're going to make that $2. That brought 30 off the sideline. Billion. It's about 30 billion off the sidelines. People, when they know.
Look at her. Look at her rolling her eyes. She just, in her head, she's like, I told you. You should have voted for me. You guys should have put me in charge. Which would have been just as funny, in my opinion. I think she has just as many flaws, just as many problems, just as many things that expose her as a fraud. But I love this clip because it just shows. It shows that even the Democrats themselves, the people running the party, they know they're screwed. Rolling their eyes at their own candidate. Luckily for you, though, Joe, not many people are seeing these gaffes when they happen because they're so unenthused. Your voters, the Democrat base, they're so unenthused that they're not even watching you half the time. Look at this on your live streams, 247 people watching. Here's another one, 26 minutes in, 19 people watching. And you compare that with Trump's live streams, he's getting hundreds of thousands on separate channels. Like multiple channels are airing his speeches and his rallies, and he's getting hundreds of thousands on each of those, millions combined. And you're getting 26 minutes into a live stream. So again, it shows that people really, really, really do not like you as their candidate. And before we get into the best gaffe from the past couple weeks, that again might be one of the best ever, I want to flash back to a couple of other top gaffes of his. And we're going to start doing this on each episode, going back through time, going back through the last couple of years and some of the best Biden gaffes. Just to remind you guys, we need to keep this fresh in everyone's mind. First, truth over facts, guys. Truth over facts.
We choose science over fiction. We choose truth over facts. And so, folks, if you're interested, join me. I could use the help.
Truth over facts. Science over fiction. Truth over facts. And I don't know what's more disturbing here is Joe saying this, truth over facts. Isn't a fact truthful? Doesn't make any sense, Joe. What concerns me more is that people were cheering. People were cheering for this. What? And more concerning than all these gaffes is Joe being seen here being escorted out, almost like he needs help walking. Holding onto his arm, when you hold onto your grandma's arm when she's going up the stairs or something like that, that's what looks like is happening here. Like he can't manage it himself. Like he's in a daze. And they're dragging him along. A little concerning, a little bit. But without further ado, this top gaffe from this past week. And you're going to have to tell me below in the comments, do you think this one is better than the opening clip? The hairy legs, I know roaches clip.
And I had a nurse nurses at Walter Reed Hospital who would bend down and whisper in my ear. Wow. They'd go home and get me pillows. They would make sure they'd actually, probably nothing ever taught in, you can't do it in the COVID time, but they'd actually breathe in my nostrils to make me move, to get me moving.
They'd go home and get pillows. And then they'd breathe in my nostrils to make me move. This poor lady interviewing you, she's like, we don't have a chance. We're screwed. We don't have a chance. This guy's nuts. Let me know in the comments, where do you guys think this gaffe is on the top 5 of all time? I personally don't think it beats the hairy legs clip, but this one's good. And all of these Biden gaffes, all of these things that are very alarming about his current state, They have everyone worried, and they have the Dems so worried that they are now trying to back out of the debates with Trump. From this past week, Joe Biden should not debate President Trump, Clinton's ex-White House spokesman says. They're literally advising him, saying, look, you shouldn't debate him because it's going to publicly humiliate you, and you're screwed. You are screwed if you debate Trump. And he is. Not only is Trump going to mop the floor with him, he's going to look really bad. He's going to have multiple gaffes. It's going to be content heaven. We're going to have multiple episodes for each debate. I will guarantee it. Guarantee it. There's going to be so much to talk about. And they know this. They know that this will be the end of Biden and his campaign as they know it. And in my opinion, I honestly think, regardless of what the polls say, I think Trump has a huge leg up in the election. I don't think Biden stands a chance. So a lot is riding on his VP pick. A lot is riding on his VP pick. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you think about Biden and his brain and his current state? What do you think about the future of the DNC? How do you think Biden is going to match up in November against Trump? And in the debates. Let me know in the comments. While you're down there, please like this video. Please help me get it recommended to others. That's it for today's video. Until next time, I'm Tyler Zed, and this is Education.
Idiots.